Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today, you can see I don't have my normal headset. I'm on my laptop. I actually am having some PC issues, but I wanted to get you guys something out there. And this is something that was pretty cool, actually. It was something that was thrown in our Discord. So if you guys haven't checked out the Discord, check it out below. Also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But let's go ahead and get into it. Basically, there was a member of the Discord who was fairly recent. He hasn't been super active, so I wasn't aware of this. But he wanted to kind of get people more involved with entry level people trying to get into cybersecurity and trying to get them jobs, right? And so he created this site, and I'll tell you, this is the first impressions. I have not gone through it because I want you guys to see my first impressions, as well as kind of my thoughts on it. So it's not gonna be a super long video, but it's a holiday weekend, so I didn't want to give you guys, or I didn't. I had a pretty busy weekend, and then or a pretty busy week, I should say. My actual main computer is out. It's having a hardware issue, so I'm getting that fixed. So it's been a tough week to get a video out, so I wanted to make sure I got you guys something. And this is something I told him that I would review because I think even if it absolutely sucks, it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. This is something that more people should do, and it's getting people involved with entry level jobs, because the biggest thing is people struggle with these entry level jobs, usually because one, they have no contacts in the industry, right? Like, you can't, I know people say it's who you know and things like that, and that's somewhat true. Your skill set also takes you really far, but it does help if you know people in the industry, right? I'm much more likely to hire somebody I know because I trust them than someone I don't know. So that's one struggle that people have, entry level positions. The other struggle is a lot of the fake. And I talk about this a lot on my channel, but you guys know I don't believe in a lot of the YouTube quote unquote propaganda that's pushed out. I don't believe in a lot of the some of the resources people give and some of the certs people recommend and things like that. I think it's a lot of sales and not so much honesty. And so a lot of people get caught into that web, and it's not their fault. It's what's being fed to them, right? So I wanted to go through this and kind of talk about it. So first impressions, right? So it looks like you can enter your email and you join the network. And it's kind of like a mailing list, if you guys are old enough to know what a mailing list is, but it's more or less basically like a blog, right? It's kind of what it looks like. Looks like it's written by the Jolt Network crew. I'm not going to go to the authors just because I don't know if he wants me to put this out there. I don't know if the author page is his or what, but I know that he said go ahead and review it. I don't know if there's other people involved that don't want to be included in the video and things. So you can search the posts. There's only 3 posts right now. So we're going to go all the way back, right? We're going to go to November 12th. Looks like they do it weekly, right? November 12th, then the 19th, then 26th, every 7 days. That's weekly. So we'll go ahead and click on this one. First impressions. So keep in mind, you guys know I'm a very honest person, and I review things very honestly because I want to see it improve, not because think that it's bad. So if you guys have ever seen my videos, my review videos, my before you download videos, this is going to be in that playlist, but you're not really downloading anything. But keep in mind that I'm very honest because I think it doesn't help anybody to say everything looks great, right? Because they can't improve on things. When they can improve, everybody can improve. People comment on my videos all the time about my camera placement, which I used to be horrible at. I'm still not great at it because I just don't think about it, but I'm much better at it now. People comment about my video editing, and I got an intro. Granted, my videos are not edited by any means. It's me editing it, right? So a lot of the stuff that people comment are very valid things, and I just don't have time to fix them or whatever. So I think real criticism is really important. So first impressions, I like the name Jolt Network. I'm not sure what it's for as far as like if there's a meaning behind it, but I like the name. Weekly skills and job leads with a side of I understood that reference. Okay, so my first impressions, honestly, is it looks written by a young person. It doesn't look professional. Now, that might be what you're going for, and there's nothing wrong with that. It might be supposed to be geared towards younger people, and this is kind of, it's supposed to be memey and kind of that type of environment. I don't know, But that's the first impressions. Is it doesn't look very professional. It looks more of kind of like a joke site almost. Like these are memes, those types of things. This is actually a famous World War II veteran. So you guys know I'm in the military. That's a famous World War II veteran, I believe. And that's actually from Band of Brothers, I believe. So don't love that, but it's a good meme. I get the joke, right? Um, it doesn't bother me. I think it's a good meme, but I think it looks very kiddish almost. And again, that's not a bad thing. That might be what you're going for, and that's totally fine. What I mean by that is I would not go to this site typically, open it, look at it, and say this is a professional website that I should take seriously. There might be some great stuff in here, and I think there is, but I'm just giving my first impressions if I came across this site. So let's go ahead and click on it. So once again, there's a meme right there again. So again, this is it kind of gives the vibe of this is more of a fun site, not so much of a serious professional site, which again might be what you're going for, and I respect that. So welcome to the first ever Jolt Network newsletter where entry-level jobs, skill boosts, and sprinkle of meme magic come together. So he is going for it. So that's exactly what he wanted. So nothing wrong with that. Less access denied and more. Okay. All right, ready to dive in. Weekly job roundup. So right off the bat, looks like they have a weekly job roundup. So they have, looks like some jobs opening. So one thing I like is I really like that he's getting entry-level positions here because you notice it says fresh opportunities. So he's getting entry-level jobs. I like that. The only thing this kind of is going to alienate is this is obviously only in America, right? So right off the bat, your audience is cut to just in America, which again might be the goal, right? So maybe some resources for people outside of the country, those types of things. Another thing is that you're cutting out is, sorry, I was just reading them. You're cutting out pretty much most of the cybersecurity jobs in the industry, actually, if you don't realize it. Most people don't know, but the DoD hires the most cyber people pretty much across the board. AWS and all of them have to have DoD compliance certified, clearances, all that stuff. So I think you're missing a lot of people here, but again, I think for what your audience, what you're going for, I think you're right on track. I think this is the audience. I think you're just going to reach a level that is, you're going to cap yourself, right? And I don't want to see you cap yourself because I think it's a great idea. I think right off the bat, hey, here's some weekly jobs, take a look. I think the problem is going to be with the jobs themselves is if you only have 3 actual entry-level positions, the people that are going to apply for these, you're probably going to have 6, 7, 800, maybe 1,000 applicants per job because these are very, Meta is obviously Facebook and Trace3, and then you have Research Innovations. So you have some big companies here. I think most likely, if you're really looking for an entry-level position, you're probably going to need those smaller companies, those startups, those types of things. So I think it's a really good idea. I think it's going to require a lot more work. And what I mean by that is really digging around, looking for real entry-level jobs that people have a shot at. The reason I say that is because the jobs you're posting here, everybody and their mother is going to find them as well because they're probably on Indeed, LinkedIn, all that, and you're probably going to have 1,000 applications at least. And so it takes an entry-level job and makes it really not an entry-level job because if everyone's applying for it, I'm going to probably hire the guy with experience. So really good idea. I think it could be implemented a little better. I think right off the bat, the format could be better too. But again, I think this is great. I don't want to understand I'm criticizing it from a place of I like it. I'm not criticizing it because I think you did a bad job by any means, or the Jolt crew did a bad job. I think you guys did a great job. I think this is a unique way to get people into the industry that nobody else is doing. And I've been in this industry a long time, and I've never seen someone try to dedicate an entire forum, I guess, if you will, just getting people into jobs. And I think that's really good. Obviously recruiters, but I don't trust them, and that's a whole nother conversation. But this is more of a passion project for you guys, and I like that. So skill spotlight. Okay, so looks like every week they're gonna spotlight a skill. So mastering SOC alerts is all about handling the unexpected with style. Like I saw it, I clicked it, I fixed it, but really knowing about the normal. So I don't know, where's this taking us. Okay, so this takes you to the Academy, Hack the Box Academy. Great. The only thing I don't like is if you click it, let's open a new tab here. If you click it, if you look, this is what I don't like about it, is it requires 350. So you guys know how I feel about Hack the Box, but right off the bat, I have to pay to use this. Simple as that. I get that it's a decent one, but really you're not going to learn that much for what you're paying for. You'll learn a decent amount, but you don't know how to apply it until you are in the position. So I see this all the time. I see people get into these just learn modes where they're like, I'm going to do try hack me, I'm going to do hack the box, and I'm going to do nothing but them. And that's great. And you learn all this information and you have absolutely no understanding of how to apply it. And then you get to a job and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you could go back and do that path and you'd be like, oh, that makes sense now. Now I get okay, so now I see what they're trying to say, blah, blah. I see it all the time. People waste so much time studying, trying to get into the industry when they should be focusing on getting actual hands-on, because it's so easy to I can get on a live stream every week and walk you guys through any attack, right? And the reason so if you guys have joined the Discord, you know that I do that, but I stopped doing the really advanced stuff in the Discord because what would happen is every week I would walk them through something, and then the next week I would come back and be like, okay, so if you guys remember part of last week, like what we did, it pertains to this, and nobody would understand what I even did the week before because they'd be like, well, yeah, you explained it, but we don't even know what you were talking about, right? And it got to a point where I realized it's just talking over their head because they don't understand how to apply it, right? If I take a concept like in-map scanning, right? Something super simple that most people learn pretty early on in their career, and I show advanced techniques in an enterprise environment, nobody understands it because nobody's been in the enterprise environment, right? If you've worked in an enterprise environment, it makes total sense to you. You're like, oh yeah, if I get in there, I can do this, this, this. I can look at the different VLANs, the subnets, all that stuff. But if you don't know that, it's pointless for you. So I think that the skill spotlight could probably use a little bit more effort. There's a lot of free sources out there, and then also doing an entire path. You're not really showing them anything, right? You're just saying everyone in cybersecurity knows what Hack the Box is, or at least has some idea typically. So you just showing them the stock analyst path that's on their front page. You can go to it. So again, I love what you guys are trying to do. I don't really think it was implemented so well there. Tool spotlight, again, in-map. Again, everybody should know about it. I'll say this. For what they're trying to go for, if you're trying to go for one of these jobs for a associate security intern or what was the other one? Security analyst, I believe. Yeah, intern, information security intern. If you're going for a security level job, and those aren't jobs either, they're internships, and you don't know what InMap is, that's a pretty big problem. So I think what you're going for is you're going for entry-level people, and that's really good, but then you're showing resources for people that have never heard of cybersecurity in their life. And so I think trying to balance that's going to be tough, but I think you can. I think you can do it a little bit better as you go. I think you're going to learn as you go on this too. Interview prep. I like that. I like the questions. How do you differentiate between a false positive and a true security incident when monitoring SOC alerts? Okay, so that's a pretty good question. I think you could add to it. You could add an answer, right, so that they know. Because right now, if you read it, you're like, okay, cool. You have no idea if you get it, if you have a good answer or not. So I think that's one thing that you could add. That'd be pretty cool. Newsflash, meta update. So Trace 3 and research innovations. Okay, so this is a little weird to me. I don't know if the Jolt Crew work for Meta, Trace 3, and research innovations. but it seems very odd that they're posting 3 jobs for those 3 positions, and then there's a cyber news update, and it's just those 3 um, companies. Seems weird. That also is not even close to probably the 3 higher jobs that are jobs. I'm sorry, news sources that week. There was probably a lot more news that happened in cybersecurity that week. These seem very particular. They seem very much like they chose these 3. So interesting. I think if you're going to put a news update, just do a feed of some sort or something like an embedded RSS feed or something, so that you're not having to constantly update this. Or if you're going to do it for like that week, actually go and look at news sources. This feels really, and again, I'm not going to hate on this because I get it's a really good concept and I like it. But this feels very minimal effort to me. And that's not me trying to be mean. I swear to God, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. But this feels very minimal effort. This feels like someone went to... Now, I'll say originally I would have said this looks like someone went to LinkedIn, typed in internship or entry level, and found those 3 jobs. But based on the cyber news flash, it feels more direct. It feels like somebody works for that company, or those are the 3 companies you researched and you moved on. Feels like the skill spotlight, again, just copy and pasted a link. Not really any skill knowledge transfer here. I think it'd be better to, instead of saying skill spotlight, it would be maybe something like add the SOC path that you did, but then put some sort of real world implementation that you've done. Maybe put a skill transfer that you are trying to knowledge transfer something over, something from the real world, not here's another learning tool that you already are probably familiar with. The Nmap, again, very minimal effort. Interview prep, you can ask ChatGPT to give you more questions and answers than that. So I like it. I think it's got some work to do, but that's the first week. Let's go to the next one, see if it keeps improving. Okay, so we're back with cybersecurity opportunities, company insights. Okay, so this one's a little bit better. I like this one better, the Red Team Security Consultant, because it says multiple cities, remote and full-time. So you're not limiting it to anybody, right? This is very open to everybody. Associate Threat Intelligence Analyst at Rapid7. Okay, I like that. Okay, Associate Security Consultant. So the only thing to be cognizant of is the consultants are not... A consultant is not the same as like an analyst or a pen tester or anything like that. So understand that depends on the job is what I'm saying. Some consultants do no hands-on work, right? So like this one, very good. It says right here, you'll conduct red team exercises, simulate cyber attacks. The other thing is, again, this is definitely not a this is going to turn into not an entry-level job. I hate to say that because there's going to be, for Google Cloud, there's going to be a couple thousand applicants for this. So if you think it's a good thing to highlight, I do like it. I like this one the best. But understand that these aren't really entry-level positions. They say they are, but there's going to be a couple thousand people applying for them, and some of them are going to have experience. So it's going to turn into who has the most. Now, some jobs I have seen, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I have seen some jobs that will say, I'm not going to hire anyone with experience. Literally, it says that. Like, you can't have this level of a cert or this much experience or whatever. They don't want that. And I totally understand the reasoning for that. So understand that could be one of these positions too. And I could be wrong on that. Skill Spotlight, again, web application pen testing. That's not a skill. It is, but what I mean by that is you can't teach someone web application penetration testing by going to this link and learning it. You just can't. It'll take them years if they're at an entry level position, years to learn this. So that's not really transfer of knowledge or skill. It's just kind of minimal effort, copy paste a link to OWASP. Tool Spotlight, Burp Suite. No, seriously, that's tool name. Okay, so I'm starting to see that the audience for this, I might have been incorrect before. I thought the audience was kind of like entry level people trying to get into cyber. It feels like it's people that, um, like it's starting to feel like it's people that don't know anything about cyber, which may be the audience. And if that's the case, this makes more sense to me. So I think maybe I was incorrect on that. Um, Burp Suite is your best friend. It's like Swiss Army knife, but for AppSec. Okay. Okay, they got little jokes. Again, this one's better. The tool spotlight's better. But again, it's just none of these are unique things. These are, and that's the thing I'm trying to get across is this feels very copy paste. It's a very copy pasta type site. It almost feels like you just went to AI and said, "Give me some generic stuff," and that's what it gave you. What is input validation? Is process maturing? So, okay, this one you actually gave the answer, so you're improving on that. I like that. You didn't just ask the question. I think maybe put some context around it. The reason I say that is input validation has no relevance to a security auditor, right? Does it? Sure, kind of, but they don't really care. It doesn't really have input validation doesn't really have a relevance to some of these different positions. There's a lot of cybersecurity project manager doesn't even know about input validation, right? So is it a good question? It's a great question. Maybe put some context as to what positions might actually ask that question, that type of thing. Cyber news update. Here we go. So again, we're back to Google Rapid7 Net SPI, which is where the jobs came from. I don't really know what's going on with this. I'd be curious. Message me on the Discord if you're watching this. I'd be curious. What exactly is the relevance of you're getting the jobs and then getting the cyber news from those same three companies? It feels like you're going to like top cybersecurity companies and you're just grabbing a job posting and the news and posting it is what it feels like. So I'm not really sure, but okay, let's go to the last one. This one was November 26th, which was just a couple days ago. So, okay, here we go. We've got more memes, which is what we've come to expect now at this point, which isn't bad. Okay. Hey there, Cyber Warriors in the making this week. We're bringing you 3 awesome entry-level cyber security jobs and a couple of bonus ones. Okay. So, yeah, see, this is what's kind of weird to me is it feels like the skill levels are not, I don't know how to explain it, but, and maybe you guys can maybe I'm overthinking it, but it feels like right here, you're saying, consider this your import cybersecurity.skills. So you're saying this as if, like, consider this import as in you're coding, right? You're programming, you're importing the library cybersecurity skills. And that's actually a really cool, like, joke, right? But then you're giving information as if the people have no idea what any of this is. So it's like, what's the actual skill level here that we're trying to target? It feels like it's a little bit all over the place. Junior security analyst. Okay, I like that one. Stern security. I'm going to assume that means your cyber news feed is going to be Stern security. Sentinel 1. Okay. SOC analyst for Sentinel 1. Okay, that's probably like an MSSP type situation. Associate security consultant, Kratos. Okay. Okay, and here's the bonus jobs. Threat response engineer, Red Canary. So the other thing is none of these have requirements on them. I would add requirements because if I'm just reading this real quick, I'm gonna think if for an entry level person, I'm gonna be like not qualified for that, not qualified for that, not qualified for that, because it just doesn't sound. Now the junior security one maybe, but the SOC analyst one doesn't say anything about like learning that type of thing. So now IT security analyst, Human Concern International. Okay. Okay. Skill spotlight, threat detection. Let's see what course this is. So, okay, this is just a Let's Defend site. Okay, which by the way, if you watch my Black Friday, I think they're still on sale right now. The Let's Defend, so check it out. I don't have any ties to them. I don't have a code or anything. Just letting you know that I think they're still on sale. It's like your practical guidebook for being on the front lines. Again, I have a tough time with this because this comes from a place of somebody that's not actually, it feels like this site is built on somebody that is either just got in the industry or is not into the industry yet, because that's just not realistic that you say threat detection, click this link and you'll learn threat detection. It's just not realistic. I think transfer of knowledge under the skill spotlight would be much better than just saying something or just giving a link. You should be putting things you learn, things that you're seeing in the real world techniques, those type of things, not just putting this in here. But again, that's kind of nitpicky, but all right, Snort, I like that. This week we're looking at one of the most useful tools in threat detection. I like the fact that this one, your skill spotlight and your tool spotlight kind of go together. I like that. That was really cool. I know last week it did too. I just didn't mention it, but the week before this. So now interview prep, popular question. Okay, so now you're starting to get into the format of question answer, and I like that a lot better. What are the key steps involved in threat detection? So I like the answer. I would put that there's some nuances here because the key steps is going to be different for each business. So yes, this is why I have an issue with a little bit with like learning conceptually, because the the key steps involved in your threat detection will never be the same as somebody over this other company, and it never should be. If it is, that means you're just taking a playbook that someone else wrote, following it, right? Well, what do you think the attacker is going to do too? They know that all these playbooks, they know that they're just generic, right? So understand you should have your own steps in threat detection. So there's a little nuance to the interview prep. So that's tough to portray in text. I'm just kind of talking out loud, but and then there you go. Yeah, you're back to Stern Security, Sentinel-1, Kratos, and Red Canary. I don't know the correlation. Is it just because you're on their site, so you're like, I'll grab this information now, or it's just kind of interesting. See you in the next drop. So I am looking forward to. I will keep checking this out. I want to see how it improves, because you can see over week 1 up to week 3, he's already the Jolt Crew over here is already improving it. I mean, you can see that there's the answer column. There was no answer column before. They're getting the tools are getting more granular. They're not just like in-map. Snort is still kind of, and Burp Suite are still kind of generic, but there's some, like, I would like to see more unique things, like a Burp Suite plugin that's unique, or something like Fox Prox or something like that that's unique, or something like that. Just tools that people don't use all the time and would need to dive into. They should already, if you're getting into cybersecurity and you're not using in-map, Snort, Burp Suite, you don't know what those are, you've never worked with them, that's a problem. You can stand those up yourself and do that. But for the most part, I like what they're doing. I like the idea. I think it depends on what they're going for. I'll say that. So if this is what they're going for, I think it looks great. I think it's good for what you're going for. I think it's a good idea. I really like the idea. I'm even happy, Jolt, if you guys want to reach out, I'm happy to work with you guys on it too, because I think this is an awesome idea. I think it's an incredible opportunity. But I do think it needs some professionalism if that's what they're trying to make it, right, is a site that people visit and actually gain knowledge. I think all in all, it's a great start to something that could be really good. So I'd like to see where it continues to be and where it goes. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys are going to check it out, let me know. The link's obviously in the description. And let me know if you guys find it useful, don't find it useful, or what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. Thanks.